everybody, how we doing? Sunnyvale Reject back in the house with another video. What kind of video today? Old school April, of course. Hey, everybody's doing it, so why not the Sunnyvale Reject? And if you never heard about old school April, what it is really is just a time when folks watch movies and listen to music and read books that bring back the wonderful nostalgia of the 80s and 90s. For our purposes today, though, I think we'll stick with the 90s because I was 15 in 1990 and I got to see it all. So I have a list of books that I want to read. I have some recommendations for you guys, and then I have a reading prompt, which I do with my kids as a bell ringer to kind of get the juices flowing because it can be very difficult to put pen to paper, you know. Before we get started with that, though, may I please show you guys my new book, Laughing is Forever, my second full-length poetry and flash fiction collection. I don't have a release date yet, but when I do, I'll make sure I share it with you guys, and I'd be totally honored if you check it out. Thank you so much. So without further delay, let's dig into the books that I want to read. There was the stipulation of it taking place at a camp, a carnival, a mall, or a beach, and that was it. I wasn't trying to be too hard on myself. I'm a writer and a teacher, a husband and a father, and I have to spread myself pretty thin. So the books that I chose are, primarily below 200 pages, quick reads, no, not psychologically deep or anything like that, just fun, entertaining books that take me away from the sturm and drang of the real world. So here we go. Book number 1, April Fools, which has nothing to do with a camp, a mall, or a carnival, or anything like that. But I'm already reading it because I heard so many good things about it. Everybody loves this book. I'm 56 pages into it, so I included it, in my old school April reading list. Primarily, 56 or 58 pages. This far in, there's 3 characters primarily: Hilda, Frank, and Belinda. And I promise you, you will want to slap Hilda and Frank's face right off their skulls. They're a couple of a-holes, but Belinda's cool. How will it turn out? We'll find out. The Mall. Richie Tankersley Cusick. Give it up. The Mall. I really dig her stuff. I really do. I've got a bunch of her books. Good writer. Fun, tense, dramatic, spooky. I have read this book before, but it was one of the first books I read from Point Horror, and I think my expectations weren't logical. I don't know what I was expecting really, but I thought it was the pacing was very slow, and there weren't those cliffhanger endings that you're used to with R.L. Stine chapter endings, and so I didn't really ever get scared. It was just kind of like a day in the life of a teenage girl who works at the mall. But this time I'm going to read it with a different perspective, and hopefully I'll enjoy it more. Book number 3. The Dead Lifeguard. Yes, that's right. This may be the only book that's not point horror on my list, and this is a Fear Street super chiller. Have you ever read it? Did you like it? Sounds like fun. The lifeguards in North Beach Country Club know they're lucky. While other kids are flipping burgers, they're sunning themselves by day and partying by night. So what if some people say the place is cursed? Haunted. This is the life. Yeah, so what? It's haunted, it's cursed. Don't worry about it. Just get a towel, man. Let's go. You already know that bad things are going to happen. Look at this beauty. Camp Fear, Carol Ellis. This book is really nice, really beautiful. I love the color schemes, the yellow, the green, the blue of the blanket on the bed. That rattlesnake's embossed too. Check it out. You don't want to go to camp. You want to hang out with your friends. But then you're at camp in the middle of nowhere in the woods, and you had to play tug of war. You come back and there's a damn eastern diamondback laying on your bed, ready to strike. Camp Fear. The past can't hurt you. It can kill you. Almost everyone at Camp Silver Lake is afraid of something. Bugs, snakes, swimming in the lake. But there's a deeper, darker fear for some of the counselors there. The fear that their terrible secret will be discovered. Do you know what their secret is? Don't tell it. I'll find out by myself. And the last book on my list, I'm sure you guys know it. You've probably read it. And if you read it, you probably love it. Funhouse by Diane Ho. I know you've heard about it. Everybody likes this book too. Actually, she wrote a lot of books for Point Horror, and she's very popular. I've really never heard anything bad about her books. The boardwalk is the focal point in the lives of the teenagers of Santa Luisa. When the Devil's Elbow roller coaster flies off its rails, everyone thinks it was a terrible accident. So no one believes Tess when she says she saw someone tampering with the track. Come on, man, don't do it. Have you ever been to a fair or a carnival or something like that? And you know you want to ride the rides, even though they're dangerous, because you think, one bolt not tight enough, one cable not strung right, and pew, off the rails you go. Okay, so that's that for the books that I want to read, and I'm going to read every damn one of them. I've got some recommendations for you guys, and I hope you like it. It's a good mix. R.L. Stein, Good Night Kiss. Oh boy, this takes place on the beach. You know, y'all know that Lost Boys atmosphere, right? Where there's a shady side behind the scenes where a lot of crazy, scary stuff goes on. But on the surface, people are, out drinking soda, having just come in from a good swim. They're eating corn dogs and hanging out on the beach, laughing, smiling families. It's 2 novellas, really, short novels and a short story. I never read the short story at the end, but the two books I really liked, and it does bring back those the memories, those good vibes of the Lost Boys. If you like that movie, Number 2, Shivers, Ghosts of Camp Massacre. I love this book. It's like 125 pages, and you will finish this in a couple hours because it keeps you going. It's tense. It's paced well. It's scary in all the right places, and there's always some emotional connection between the characters. There's always some moral to take away from it, even though it may be elementary. There's always some moral, and we can all use that, So if you're not into middle grade or YA, why not check out this? Patricia Wallace, Thrill. It's got a boo-boo. I read this book. I got to page 355 and lost it. Had to buy a new copy. Found this again, finished it, and gave the new copy to a student who really liked it. Finished it in a few days. I've got students like that. But what this is about is an adult amusement park, right? Because it's very expensive with the robotics and the holograms and those kind of things. And so it's a week-long vacation, so kids aren't really allowed there. They couldn't afford it even if they could go. But one 8-year-old sneaks in and finds lots of crazy hiding spots. Nothing could go wrong until it did, as the crowds swarmed through the gates on opening day to sample the record-breaking delights of the dazzling death spiral or the delicious terror of the graveyard. They were unprepared for the disaster that was about to strike. Thrill. Not me. I'd be ready. I'd be the one that everybody's pissed off at because I'd be telling them, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. We better do this. And they wouldn't do it. What I told them was going to happen would happen, but they'd still be mad at me. I also was going to include books about writers in my, my stipulations for my reading list. I didn't go with that, but maybe you will. Here's a good recommendation. It's called It Came From Ohio. It's about R.L. Stein, by R.L. Stein. This cover's fun, right? With all those Goosebumps characters. His children. Yeah, this is a really cool book. It gives some good advice, of course, but there's little quirky, odd, obscure jokes, and he's just got a way of speaking that's never really heavy. It's always very light. He doesn't take himself too seriously. And this guy was destined for stardom. If you want to be a writer, why not read books on writing by people who are very successful? Like Stephen King. His book on writing was really influential in my young writing life. And this one was fun too because we tend to take ourselves very seriously, and we shouldn't. We shouldn't. We should just let go. Let go of every little bit of control you think you have, because you really don't have any control of anything. So just do the best you can. Go with the flow. Don't take things too seriously. Last book, Ghost Beach. Ghost Beach. A lot of folks say this is one of the scarier Goosebumps books. I don't know because I haven't read enough Goosebumps, but I thought it was scary, I thought it was fun, and I thought the premise was unique. So, do you believe in ghosts? Jerry can't wait to explore the dark, spooky old cave he found down by the beach. Then the other kids tell him a story about a ghost who lives deep inside the cave, a ghost who is 300 years old, a ghost who comes out when the moon is full. Come on, man, that's what we're talking about right there. Who cares how old you are? Get a Goosebumps book, read it, and be taken back in time. Be a kid again. Shut the world out and just have fun and enjoy life. So that's it basically for my reading list and for the recommendations I thought you guys might enjoy. So now I want to do a little reading prompt with you guys. So the kids I teach, they don't really read a lot, and this generation doesn't seem to read a lot. I mean, they're always swiping, they've always got their phones in their hands. So I try to get them to distance themselves from technology a little bit. And here's another thing. When kids copy today, for example, when they cheat, they copy and paste. Back in my day, we didn't have that kind of technology, right? So all you could do is look over at somebody's paper, and you had to look at it and read it, and then you had to rewrite it, so you were at least getting touches on it. I can't tell if these kids are cheating or not unless I keep my eyes on them 24 hours a day, because they're using computers a lot. So the first thing I get them to do is hand write some work for me. And this is what I'll do. I'll come into class and I'll say, okay, phones up, bags off of your desk. Today we're going to do some creative writing to get the juices flowing and get the day started on the right note. So I'm going to read something to you guys, and I want you to finish the story for me. Tell me what happens next, and be creative as you want. Take as many risks as you can, as long as it's fun for you and you create something that you yourself would like to read. So check this out. This is from The Dead Girlfriend. Look at that beautiful cover. And y'all know those passages, those excerpts at the beginning of the book? It's a perfect little bell ringer. Check this out. Please don't jump. I shielded my eyes from the sun, and then I saw him, a teenage boy wearing jeans and a yellow t-shirt. He was standing over the falls, right on the edge. I gasped. I hadn't expected him to be standing there. He didn't see me. He was staring straight down to the jagged black rocks below the falling water. He took a step forward. My heart stopped. I realized what he was about to do. Stop, I screamed. Don't jump. Please, don't jump. Now you guys tell me, what happens next in your story? What happens? Have fun. Take risks. And listen, guys, I appreciate your time so much that I'm going to shut up and I'm not going to take any more of it. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time, so thank you so much for your patience. I will pay it forward. I appreciate you guys watching my videos and listening to me run my mouth and looking at my books even when they suck. So thank you so much. Stay cool, keep reading, and have a wonderful weekend.